This message comes to you from Wythenshawe Community Church, Manchester. We hope that you are inspired and challenged by God's Word.
Experience His love and grace. So that's what we do across Cape Town through our various programs and opportunities, and I'll explain a bit more about that now, but we identify young people. But then the second thing we do is we then want to provide them with a platform to flourish in faith and in life. The platforms that we provide are platforms of discipleship. So some of what Christina does through creative arts and through her music is providing a platform for young people to come to know Jesus, but then to begin to grow in life. We have a platform through our prison work where we not only share the gospel with them, but begin to prepare them for life beyond prison, which includes halfway homes and job opportunities. We provide a platform through our community programs where we use sports and other opportunities to engage young people in the things that they love in order to give them what they need in Jesus Christ. So the platform is critical for us because we want to raise up young leaders who themselves can speak into the challenges in Cape Town and beyond. But then the third thing for us, the third word we talk about is the word mission. Because what becomes so exciting for us is when young people we've identified and provided a platform for, when they begin to work towards their own purpose, when they understand that God has a mission and a calling for them. And even young people here today, there's a mission, there's an opportunity for you that God has uniquely for you. And He wants to use you in your school, in your community, in your neighborhood to bring about positive change centered around the gospel. So that's how we describe. The first word was identify. Second word was platform. Oh, good. You're a good crowd. The third word was mission. And we're a missional movement, seeing God work from the margins and bringing about transformation. So I wanted to give you a few updates on what God's been doing. Some of you were here in May when we shared and previously, but some powerful testimonies of what God's been doing in Cape Town. The first one is our premises, our building. I shared about this in May. The top left is where we have our headquarters of Message in Cape Town. That's where we work and where we're based. The bottom left is what we're working towards, some renovations and increasing our space. But earlier this year, I shared on the top right there, you can see there's a house behind our building. And about a year ago, in faith, we put an offer in on this house in order that it could be a halfway home for guys coming out of prison who could then be fully attached to what we're doing as the Message. And we call it a discipleship house called the Oaks. They also have one close by here. And I shared in May that we'd put an offer in, it had been accepted, we'd taken occupation of the house, and we're renting it for a period of 6 months. And I think I shared in May that we had about £1,000 in pledge towards purchasing the house. Well, the amazing testimony is, I'm not going to give you the detail now, but by mid-August, we paid cash for that house. A couple of you here sewed into that as well, and so we're pushing on also in faith for the next phase to redevelop the property. But it's a testimony to God's goodness, isn't it? And I think it encourages people in their faith that He is faithful to us. The second slide I wanted to show you was this is now what we call a hub. We have the headquarters in a place near where we live, a place called Mowbray. Well, now we've set up a hub in one of the most notorious communities in Cape Town, a place called Nyanga. It's actually got the nickname, the murder capital of Cape Town. It's a gangland area. And this year, we believe that God is calling us to go close to the biggest challenges. So we set up what's called our Message Nyanga Community Hub in partnership with a church called New Crossroads Baptist Church. And now every day, my colleague, Kaluli, is on the top right hand of the screen there, is reaching young people. This is now a safe space for young people, and every day they're coming in, they're doing their homework, they're doing after-school activity, they're doing sports, and most importantly, they're hearing about Jesus' love for them, being discipled, and we're seeing leaders raise up. And increasingly, we want to see these kind of hubs established in the toughest neighborhoods across the city. And another thing we've seen this year on the next slide as one of the platforms we provide is job opportunities, that those who are coming out of gangs and prisons, one of the biggest challenges that they face is actually employment. We have no benefit system in South Africa. It's a very difficult environment if you don't have a job. So a few years ago, we started something called Gangstar Enterprises. And 2 years ago, we opened our first Gangstar Cafe. This year, we opened our second Gangstar Cafe, and we employ Caller. Carlo on the left-hand side, that's Tembin Corsi, who's actually now working in one of our cafes in the northern suburbs in a shopping mall. And it's amazing that the guys who used to serve time are now serving coffee. But as they serve coffee, they also share their stories. And people ask, how have you been changed? And they're able to tell about Jesus Christ and what he's doing. So those are some of the incredible things that God is doing. The third thing I wanted to show you, and it's going to be just a 2-minute video, I said in May that we'll be launching the Higher Tour. So the two examples I've given you so far of where we're going deep in terms of discipleship and going deep in some of the lives, but we're also going broad in sharing the gospel broadly. So this video shows our first Higher Tour, which was in a community called Parkwood, close to where we stay. So this was our first Higher Tour in the Cape Town context. Christina and a team and others went into over 12 schools, shared with over 3,500 young people, and over 1,250 came to the main gig. And at that event, over 220 kids committed their lives to Jesus. And so this is just the start for us. Over the next 3 years, we're trying to get into 300 schools and present the gospel to multiple thousands of young people across the city so that they can start their journey in their local church. And on the next slide, we also took it into prisons. So we did our first Higher Tour in a prison. I think it's on the next slide. Where we spoke to over 300 odd prisoners over a course of a week, and over 70 committed their lives to the Lord at the end of that week. So the gospel is alive and well in our generation, isn't it? And so we're trusting God to do even more. So we want to thank you. You can click on the next slide. Thank you for your partnership with Withenshaw Community Church. You're one of our heroes, our partners. As we raise up urban heroes around the world, these transformational leaders, we can only do it hand in hand with supporters like yourselves on your knees praying. We appreciate your prayers. We appreciate the church that supports Christina as a missionary. She's going to share a bit more about that. But we have our table at the back afterwards. And there is a request to continue to take hands with Christina. I often say this when I come to your church, that I'm now not talking as a husband, I'm talking as a boss. We really do value the support that she gets, and she is fully dependent upon the faithful giving of people like yourselves who give over and above to your local church to support the work of missions around the world. And as it's Christmas, we've got a special gift for you. For anyone that is willing to give on a monthly basis and continue supporting Christina. There's a bag of message goodies here. Inside the bag, there's CDs and books, including my latest book, which is Grief and Grace, which is something of the story of my own testimony of the past 3 years since the passing of my late wife. And that book is in here. And for anyone who signs up today, they will also get Chrissy T's CD as well. If you can't sign up monthly, you can buy both of these things as well, and that just does continue to support the work.
We hope you've been inspired and challenged by this message. For more information about Withenshaw Community Church Manchester, please visit withenshawcommunitychurch.org.